Well, Nottingham is hosting Manchester United tomorrow at the City Ground, a stadium that really capacitates 30,444 people. Welcome to United Matters channel. Having been beaten by Aston Villa over the weekend by 2-0, that is Nottingham Forest, and United beat Everton by 2-0 at Old Trafford. That's how we played our recent two games. Nottingham lost its game away from home, and obviously they've taken very many games without winning because they are really having a very horrible season. When you look at their season, in their previous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are not having a win in the last 7 games, guys, because when you look at their recent form, their last 6 games, it's really horrible. It's really shocking, and that's why their manager was nearing a sack, and an axe was hovering over his head after the likes of Tottenham sacked their manager, that is Antonio Conte, Leicester City sacking theirs, Chelsea sacking Graham Potter. The axe was hovering over the head of the manager of Nottingham Forest. So he comes into this game with a lot of pressure and he needs to win this. Maybe it will be the game that will see him sacked if at all he loses to Erik ten Hag of Manchester United. Nottingham Forest's recent form is in their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. They don't have any win. They have 4 losses and 2 draws. In their last 6 games, they are having 4 losses and 2 draws. In their last 3, 1 draw and 2 losses. Then Manchester United, in their last 6, they're having 3 wins, 2 losses and 1 draw. In our last 3 games, we are having one loss and 2 draws. That is Manchester United. And in all competitions, we are having 1 draw and 2 wins. That is the draw against Sevilla that is still haunting me up to now. I just cannot believe that we really draw against that side. But obviously there are things just call in and understand that maybe that's what the game of football is all about. So it's going to be Stephen Cooper's game that is going to keep him onto the job or see him sacked from the team of Nottingham Forest. To me, I believe, however much the board has really stood in for him, but this game of United, if he loses it, he's going to find himself sacked. But at home, they've been having a very good run of games, but they found themselves draw with Chelsea, they drew with Man City, but Newcastle was the last game they played at the City Ground, and Newcastle beat them by 2-1. I think Alexander Isak just took the day and scored a brace, and obviously found himself really giving Newcastle the bragging rights after beating that side of Nottingham Forest. So welcome to this channel. Rokan David is my name. And for United, if you never knew, we've played this team thrice this season. We first played them after we returned from the World Cup. In the league, we beat them 2-0 at Old Trafford. I think it was Anton Martial and Marcus Rashford. Then, in the Carabao Cup, it was the semi-final we played against Nottingham. Remember, it's always a 2-leg tie. At City Ground, we won by 3-0. I think that's when Wout Weghorst scored his first goal for Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford with his solo effort. That saw him really put us ahead in the 6th minute of the game. Then when they came to Old Trafford, I think that game ended 2-0 in favor of Manchester United. I think Martial came off the bench and really put us ahead. Was it Garnacho who scored the first goal? I don't recall, but at Old Trafford, we beat them by 2-0 in both ties. And then away at City Grounds, we beat them by 3-0. So it puts us in a situation of being favorites as we go into this game of football, and history is on our side, because the last time we played a league game at the City Ground, we beat them by 8-0. That was in 1999, if I'm not mistaken, and that's when Nottingham played in the Premier League. They've just returned. So putting 8 past them. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came off the bench and scored 4 goals. He put 4 goals past them. And I think we are returning to that stadium when it's no longer the same as it was, because they play a low block, that is Nottingham Forest, and they hit our team on the break. Now, with lots of injuries, of players that we are having at Manchester United, with our best central defense partnership out, Varane out for 3 weeks, Lisandro Martinez season ruled out, that's not going to be an easy visit for Nottingham Forest. But if you are Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof and cannot really rise up to the occasion in such games when you're playing Nottingham Forest, then you don't deserve to be a player at Manchester United. And I believe they need to raise up to the occasion. The other injured players that we're not expecting to see is Marcus Rashford, who is expected to return next week as we play Sevilla away in Spain. Then Garnacho is like 2-3 weeks away from return. Donny van de Beek is out. You get? I think those are the 5 players that are really injured that we don't expect into this game. But the rest of the players are really great. Luke Shaw and Scott McTominay are really back. But when you look at Nottingham Forest, they are really having a full, all-along queue of players injured. Cheku Koyate and Moussa Niakate suffered hamstrings, Then they are having Beyonce is having a knee, Renard Lodi is having a knock, Omar Richards is having a calf, Gustavo Scarpa is having an injury, Chris Wood, Willie Boyley and Dean Henderson all are having thigh injuries, so you don't expect them to return. And there is Yetis and Serge Aurier, they are all injured. Romeo Fiola and Mangala should look forward to immediate recalls in the place of Koyate and Nikiate. So that's it for Nottingham Forest. They're really having loads of injuries, and when you look at their team, it's really so much bleated than that of United. And if Atuli cannot beat a team that is having close to 5 first teamers out, then we shouldn't be really in the best shape to really put out the best result that the fans of United deserve, having really seen ourselves really drawing at home by 2-0, by drawing at home 2-2 against a side known as Sevilla. Now let's go to the predicted starting 11. As I've told you, the players that are absent and those that are really available at this level at Manchester United. Now let's go to the team of United. It's the predicted starting 11 that we expect Ten Hag to really flaunt as far as this side of Nottingham is really. Alright, the system is 4-2-3-1. We are having 4 defenders, 2 central defenders and 2 left backs, 2 midfielders, that is the double pivot, 3 attack midfielders and 1 center forward, with De Gea trying to really put up the best. No goalkeeper comes close to him. I think he's starting that goal of United against Nottingham Forest, and obviously I see no player that is going to go past David De Gea. And obviously again, his distribution was really great against Nottingham Forest. Then he made some 2 good saves that were really worldies, in the first half and in the second half. Then right back, Aaron Bissaka has played the recent 2 games of Manchester United, so I expect him to come in through and obviously do the needful for himself and get rested to be set ready for the game of Sevilla down in Spain, because it's going to be a very huge game where our defense needs to be really intact. And I think Diego Dallo is coming in through to start onto the right back of Manchester United, as you see him there for you. I think he's going to play part in that game. Then the left back, however much he made a mistake, I know Luke Shaw is back, but there is no reason to rush Luke Shaw back. I think it's going to be Tyrell Malacia. Ten Hag is going to give him a second chance to exonerate himself that he's really good to do the needful. And I think even other defenders have been given second chances, midfielders and center forwards, having done loads of mistakes. And I think Tyrell Malacia needs to be given a chance to rectify his mistake once again. Now, central defense, Lisandro Martinez away, Rafael Varane out. We expect Lindelof to return to play in the right side of the central defense, and then Harry Maguire to play on the left side of the central defense. My heart was telling me that it was supposed to be Luke Shaw to be played onto the left side of the central defense, but remember, Luke Shaw is returning from injury. He had a masseter issue in the game of Brentford, and they took him early enough. That's why he's coming back or returning back early enough. So I think if he's to come in and play a part, he'll play like 30 minutes in this game to prepare him for the game of Sevilla. I think we need Luke Shaw to be played on the left side of the central defense in the game of Sevilla more than this game of Nottingham Forest on Sunday, because I think Harry Maguire and Lindelof can really get this done. They can get the job done. You know, however much Harry Maguire is really a liability, he can be dominated by any player in the Premier League. I think I'm giving him a benefit of doubt in the game of Nottingham Forest that he can really get this done, because we need to rest Luke Shaw to come on and play like 30 minutes in his leg, such that when you're playing Sevilla away in Spain, Luke Shaw is paired with Lindelof in the central defense. Now, don't be shocked tomorrow when you see Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Dalot on the same field of play, because Ten Hag might want to rest Tyrell Malacia and prepare him for the game of Sevilla away. Then he gets Diego Dalot and plays him on the left back, you know, as an inverted left back. So he can play Dalot as a left back and then Aaron Wan-Bissaka as a right back. So don't be shocked when you see that tomorrow on or at the City ground. Then when we go to the double pivot, I think it's going to be Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes again. You know, one will say, why not Eriksen? I think Eriksen is struggling to get back to his full fitness levels. You know, he's not yet back to those levels that you expect him to be, and the same applies to Casemiro. You know, for Casemiro, he has been out for very many games. He last kicked a ball when Brazil was being beaten by Morocco. I think that game ended 2-1. That was around the 24th, 25th of March. Today, he returned to the field of play on it was the 13th, meaning that the last 7 days of March, he never kicked a ball. Then, the last 12 days, he had not been playing, meaning that he had spent almost 3 weeks without kicking a ball, meaning that he was really blunt. He was not sharp. So maybe that game of Sevilla might have really got him back to his full sharpness, as we know, and this game he should be playing to that game of football. And I think there is no way you can really bring him on the field of play and play him together with Eriksen when both players have been out for so long. And for Eriksen, it is like 2 months without playing the game of football. He got injured, I think around, was it the 28th, 27th, 28th, when they're playing Reading, and he was ruled out for 2 months. That's why he went in for Marcel Sabitzer. So I think it's better he played him Bruno Fernandes, because Bruno has shown us that he is good playing in the deep lying position of the midfield. Even when he's played there, assists always coming in through. And in the game of Sevilla, you saw Bruno Fernandes put up the first assist for Marcel Sabitzer. So I believe it's going to be Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro, though I expect Eriksen to come in through and play a part. You know, some 30 minutes in his legs to see to it that he finds himself in a position of really doing the needful. So the central attack midfielder, I think it's going to be Marcel Sabitzer. In that position, has proven to us that he's really one of the best. And here I am to look at how shameful those people that said Fred is starting ahead of Sabitzer. You guys, I told you that Sabitzer just needed time to settle in. You know, he has settled into the team, and obviously Fred cannot even find a way into this team. And I'm seeing people asking themselves, why isn't Freddy being played by Erik Ten Hag? Guys, we are having midfielders right now that are really good. Casemiro is undroppable. Bruno is undroppable. Now there are two players that Fred can't get ahead of. That is Eriksen and Sabitzer. I mean, look at Sabitzer's form. You know, in the last 4 games we played at Old Trafford, he has been involved in 4 goals, 3 goals and 1 assist. It shows you that Fred cannot come close to him, because the quality of Sabitzer is nowhere near that of Fred. So it comes to my understanding that we are having a very good midfield right now. So Sabitzer, I don't see him playing close. I don't see him play more than 60 minutes, because with Bruno Fernandes suspended for the game we are playing on Thursday away at Sevilla, that calls for Erik Ten Hag to bring in Eriksen to play like 30 minutes. And if at all, at halftime you are like 2 goals up, I think Ten Hag will just introduce Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes will be played into the central attacking midfield area of the pitch to see to it that he plays that entire 90 minutes because he's not going to be featured into that game, and Eriksen will get in like 30-45 minutes for that. And now with Lindelof and Lindelof and Harry Maguire being played into the central defense, that calls for a lot of protection from Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. And I think this time around Casemiro is not going to be really sluggish, because I saw him putting out lots of blind passes in that pitch, but obviously I think that was because of him really not being played for very many weeks. Now, Anthony, right attack midfielder, I believe he had a very good game. He had a very good game against Sevilla, but he's still selfish. His decision making is really lacking. I want to see him sometimes surprising his opponents by going in for that assist. Not every time he just breaks to his left, all chops to his left. He's supposed to go in for that curling effort. However much he was denied a goal by the crossbar around the 65th minute, but I think he deserves to really do some surprises, right? And secondly, I would love to see him shoot on the near post sometimes, but every time he cuts in, he just goes for the far post. Can he really try to go for the near post? But he really had a very good game. I saw him take off players of Sevilla, and he sat them down. Every time he really got that ball, he found himself in good positions, and I'm liking the way he cuts inside. He's direct and proactive nowadays. So I like that from Anthony, and it shows you that he's improving season in, season out. Now, on the left attacking side of the midfield is Jadon Sancho, a player that I believe he played well against Sevilla, and the reason as to why he looked bad in the second half is because we dropped off. The midfield couldn't connect to the attack, and that really saw us inviting pressure from Sevilla. But I think Sancho should be played on the left attacking side of the midfield, and having been rested in the 60th minute, that means that he's really fresh to play a part into the game of Nottingham Forest. And guess who's leading the line? Man who is really flying, Anton Martial. You saw what he brings to the team of Manchester United. An assist, a goal against Everton, an assist in the game of Sevilla, and obviously he is really fine, and he's a player that just gets this team playing well. He's the glue of this team. If he's there, obviously we see how good he's performing, and I think he's looking angry and aggressive. He just wants to really disapprove those that are really putting him out, and I think we just have to keep our hands crossed that Martial just finds himself fit throughout the season, and him into this game of football, I expect us to be doing a lot of things. So that is my predicted starting 11 for Manchester United, and let's go to the players to watch in the game of Nottingham. The first player to watch, especially, it's B. Johnson, very good player, and there is M. Gibbs White, very good player. There is even Jonjo Shelvey that we must really keep a good eye, and there is Shat 7 Williams. He's really one of those that has gone ahead to really have a very brilliant season at Nottingham in that midfield. So for United, I think we just have to find ourselves doing the needful. Let's put that ball at the back of the net as early as possible. First goal, important for this fixture. Then we need to keep a clean sheet. I know they are going to leave the ball for us. That's it. And we are having a front three that is really good at really using the ball. That is Anton Martial, Sancho, and Anthony. And behind them is Sabitzer, who is also good at really finding that pass and obviously making good runs to replace Anton Martial every time Martial will drop deep, as you saw into all those two goals that Sabitzer scored. He just found himself in a better position of really shooting, and that's what he does best for his club. Remember, for Sabitzer, he has gone ahead to score more goals than he has scored for Bayern Munich. Remember, Bayern Munich signed him in 2021, and he has played close to 52 games for Bayern Munich, but he had not yet scored 3 goals. He had only scored 2 goals, meaning that his third goal he scored against Sevilla saw him surpass that number. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Your reactions onto Nottingham Forest vs United are welcome in the comment section below. I'm going for a 2-1 win for Manchester United against Nottingham Forest, because I believe we have all what it takes to really beat Nottingham Forest hands down from where they are right about now. So that is my starting 11 predicted. What is yours? Into the comment section below. See you in a gift, because you guys are really great and wonderful. But we need this win because Newcastle is playing today earlier, and we just find ourselves, they are playing Aston Villa. I don't know what's going to happen, but let's focus on ourselves. You know, let's win our games, and after winning our games, we won't be into those equations of really losing out or praying for other teams to be beaten. We just have to find ourselves really winning our games, because when we win our games and score very many goals, we'll be third in a nick of time. But for Erik ten Hag, he should get his substitutions right this time around. Game management, tactics, we shouldn't find ourselves into a graveyard shift by dropping off in the second half. These games, ever since we returned from the World Cup, first half, we've been really performing very well. Second half, with down tools. But before the international break, first half, we are not so much in the game. It took us like 30 minutes to grow into the game, and then we dominated the second half. This time around, it's vice versa. We dominated the first halves, and second halves are really lost to the opponent. So guys, I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. My Muslim friends, Ramadan Kareem. I'm out. See you in our next video. I'm out.